within this book. I'm scared. I've been saying I want someone that yearns. This man is yearning. But I need to talk about this book because oh my god, I think this might be one of my favourite romances from this year. I knew it, like she wants to have sex. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. So for today's video, I'm so excited to film this because I'm very lucky that I've actually received quite a few ARCs. So I thought we could read some together because I've actually never received ARCs before, and somehow within the last, I want to say, week and a bit, I've got quite a few on my list and I thought we could read them together because I think that's quite exciting. It also builds up some hype and I can let you know my true opinions if you're waiting on any of these releases. So the first one I'm going to go with is A Widow's Charm. I don't know if you can see that, by Caitlin Paxson. I don't know if this is her debut novel. I actually got this through NetGalley. I think it, for some reason I feel like it might be, oh no, I stand corrected. She has written, oh I don't know what this is. Something else, a fairy tale journal? I'm not sure. It only has one rating, so I don't know. But I think this has actually been published with Penguin, if I'm right. I feel like that's what it said at the start of this arc. I could be mistaken, but I'm also not sure when this releases. Hopefully I'll find out for you 100% because currently it says on Goodreads that it's expected the 30th of November. Hold on, can you see? It currently says it's expected the 30th of November 2025, but I'm pretty sure on here it mentioned a 2026 release. It just said 2026, it didn't say a date. So I have a feeling this might be released in 2026. I will find out for sure at some point, but currently I'm not quite sure. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of insight. So there's actually not much on the book description. It just says a comedy of errors-esque romance, fantasy romance, in which a clever widow blackmails her rakish necromancer neighbour to bring her husband back to life and save her home, only to find herself falling for him. And that just sounds so fun. It sounds really autumnal. It's obviously, we're like mid-September currently, so I feel like this is the perfect time to pick this one up and have a read. So I've barely read anything, to be honest. Oh, it doesn't tell me pages. I've read 3%. I've read, honestly, like, not much. I picked it up and was starting to read it and then I thought, wait, I wanted to do a video based on reading ARCs, so let me quickly talk about it. But yeah, so far not much to say. I will say the chapters are long. I still have 27 minutes left in this chapter and I think I started it and instead I had 40 minutes. So quite long chapters. I don't normally love long chapters, but I will say there are like breaks in between, so I feel like that helps. I feel like if there's a break in long chapters, it's okay because I can easily pause there. It's when it's just going on and on and on and I don't have a chart. Like, I hate pausing mid-chapter, so that's why I get put off with longer chapters, because I think I'll see the number of minutes left in the chapter and I'll think, I don't want to sit here and read for that long, or I don't have enough time, or I'm not invested enough to sit and read this for another 40 minutes. So anyway, this is the first book we're going to read. I'm not going to mention the other ARCs I've got. I think we'll go along because I may change my mind. I know we have this one, which is obviously a bit, I think this is meant to be like a bit of like a fantasy-ish, like kind of like romance book, which sounds perfect for fall. And then I think one of them, the ones I'm thinking of reading, one of them is like a bit more of a fluffy romance, and then one of them is a fantasy, which I think is quite long. I think it's about 700 pages, and they just finished releasing 10, which, if you know, that is the most recent Boys of Tommen book, and that one is a very long one, and I just finished it and I was like, I don't need anything too long. I think this one is about 400 pages. It doesn't tell me the page count, but I think it's around there. So I'm like, that's not too bad, I can do that. I just didn't want to go straight into another like really long book. So yeah, currently, obviously, I'm 3% in, I don't have much thoughts. Literally just been introduced to our female main character, Hilda? I'm pretty sure her name's Hilda. Is her name Hilda? Yeah, I'm pretty sure her name's Hilda, and it's happening very quick. Like, I'm 3% in and she's just found her husband dead. Obviously that's not a spoiler, it says it in the very book description. So yeah, the husband's dead. and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, nothing else has happened, obviously, not very far in, but yeah, I will keep you updated. I'll let you know how I get on, and hopefully this will give me all the autumnal vibes. I love a bit of like the necromancer. I love the whole like mystery element. I feel like, I say mystery, sorry, I love the whole like magic system element of it, and I feel like from what we've got, I think Hilda, our female main character, has magic. Like, I think she's got, I don't know if magical powers is the right term, but she's mentioned to like, it's called a charm, and it's basically like, in the very start of the book, there's like rotten food and she charms it and it becomes like ripe again. So I don't really know the full ins and outs of what she can do, but there's obviously something magical around her, and there's obviously she's going to try to bring back her husband. So I'm really intrigued, and fingers crossed I really enjoy it. And yeah, I will keep you updated throughout, and I will see you when I've read a little bit more. Hello everyone, so it's now Friday and I thought I would update because when did I last update? I think I updated last when I actually started the book, which was Wednesday evening, and I'm now 68% through this book. So I felt like I should update because I was aiming to try and do an update 50% through. Kind of didn't happen. I was just a bit lost in the book, so I was like, let me quickly update because, oh my god, the amount of times I've said update, I do apologise, I just realised I've said it about 10 times. But my next check-in, that's a different word to use, my next check-in will probably be when I finish it. So I thought I'd quickly give my thoughts as of now. And yeah, so far I am enjoying it. I will say at the start, the first few chapters I was a bit like, you're just not sure. I felt like it was very info dumpy at the start. It's very fast paced. It was very, this is your female main character, this is her situation, this is her family relatives, this is the situation she's in, her husband has now just died. Like, the first chapter 1 and 2 was just like, whoa, like, this is a lot. But I will say it does calm down a little bit and it starts to make more sense. And let me say, our male main character Elmwood, I've been saying I want someone that yearns. This man is yearning. From their very first encounter, which, can I just say, their first encounter was hilarious. Like, he is a bit of a ladies' man. He's had quite a few rendezvous, I guess you'd say, with a lot of women in his time. And when he meets her, he assumes that she's flirting with him. And it is so funny because you're in his point of view. And he's like, oh, like, she just did an innuendo. And he's like giving it back. And then in his point of view, he's like, why is she frowning? Like, she's into this. And then she invites him for dinner and he's like, oh, I knew it. Like, she wants to have sex. And it is so funny because obviously from her point of view, we know she has found him because she needs her husband to be brought back from the dead. And she's aware that he has a charm that can accomplish that. So she's there thinking like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, get him to bring my husband back. And he's there like at this dinner thinking like, yeah, I've scored. Like, she's into me, and like thinking they're gonna have a little thing. And it's just really funny. I didn't expect it to be as funny as it is. I will say there haven't been as many humorous things, I guess. There's been a few things, but not to that level. So like that did grip me very fast. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that kind of banter, but I'm so here for it. And yeah, since the moment they meet, yearning. Like, this man is obsessed, and I'm obsessed with the way he's obsessed. Like, I'm eating it up. I actually highlighted a little section of him quote unquote yearning in a way. I wish I'd have highlighted more because there's quite a lot, but this is the only one I've currently highlighted, and it just says, despite his distress over Rollo, his general despair and the pulsing pain in his hip, as soon as he laid eyes on her, she became the only thing he could think about. And it's just, every single time she's in the room, he's like, whoa, like everything goes out the window. It's like, whoa, her. And even when they're not together, he's chilling, he's thinking about her, he's like, oh, like it's just the constant thing that he is obsessed with her, and I'm like, oh, I love it. Anyway, so yeah, I am enjoying it. I will also say, obviously the description of the book isn't very, there's not a lot of depth to the description that we currently have online. It just says that it's about a widow and a necromancer trying to bring her husband back from the dead, and then they fall in love. There's a lot more in this book than that description. It all follows, like, that whole theme of bringing back the husband from the dead has followed through. We're at 68%, it is still kind of relevant, but a lot more is going on. So we kind of have shifted gears a little bit, which I wasn't expecting, but I'm glad about it. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to see how, like, what's going to happen in the next 2.5 hours before we finish this one. I will say, the pacing hasn't been great. I feel like, as I said, the start was like, whoa, 0 to 100. And then the middle section, it's still been a good pace, but it just hasn't been as, like, snappy, if you know what I mean. And there's been points where I'm like, I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying everything we're reading. I'm enjoying the storyline. But there've been parts where I'm like, come on, let's get there. Also, if you are a lover of slow burn like me, slow burn, yearning man, loving it. So I'm excited to see how this will end. Part of me is curious as to whether it might be connected, there might be another one that's like an interconnected standalone, because there are other characters in this that I would like to see more of, but I don't know if it would be nice to see more of them, because they've kind of come in, but I feel like they haven't really been, there's not been as much depth to them. So I don't know whether there will be another like interconnected standalone that comes out, or if this will be a series. I guess the ending will kind of maybe confirm that for me, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I would say currently, if you were to ask me like rating wise, I feel like I would give it a 3.5/3.75. We're not quite in the 4-star bit, and my worry is we're like 70% now. We've got 2.5 hours left. Is it just going to go shit hits the fan and like crazy? Because if it does, I think I'll be left, depending on what happens, obviously I don't know, but I feel like I'll be left a bit like, oh, because I feel like I don't want a case where it takes me getting to the last 100 pages for something to happen, whereas we could have had that happening like a lot more smoothly within the whole of the timeline. Obviously this is also the uncorrected proof, so things may change come the March release, but all of that aside, I am having a good time. It's fun. There's like, it's cozy. It's kind of like gothic. It's kind of like Regency times. There's humour. There's lust. There's yearning. There's slow burn. Like, there is a lot of good things within this, and I am enjoying it. So, all of that to say, I will update when I probably finish the book and give my final thoughts and opinions. But I just thought I would quickly recap where I've been sitting over the last day and a bit. Like, I have finished, if I finish this today, that would, I pretty much read it in like 2 days, so I feel like that says a lot as well. But anyway, that is it for now, and I will catch up with you once I've finished the book. So I have now finished A Widow's Charm. I finished it yesterday evening. It is now Saturday, and I thought I would do a quick little review and summary on my thoughts and opinions. So I did end up, I did end up rating it a 3.5. I really enjoyed it, and everything I've previously said still stands. I'm not gonna repeat everything I've said. Obviously, as I said, the tension, the yearning, the plot, like there was so many good things. The one thing that brought it down from a 4 to a 3.5 for me personally was the pacing. I feel like it was quite fast at the start, and then it kind of hit a lull where things were happening but not much, and everything sort of happened at the end. But all of that aside, I really did still enjoy it, and I would recommend it. Still unsure of when it comes out. It says on NetGalley the 31st of March 2026. So I'm gonna go with that date, because I feel like that's more correct than Goodreads would be. So it does come out for, what the fuck am I trying to say? So it doesn't come out for a while, but I feel like it is a good, fun, cozy, like fantasy romance. I don't know if I'd say fantasy. I feel like it's more magical realism, I think is more what I'd say. I guess it is fantasy-esque, but my opinion of it, I feel like it was a bit more magical realism because of the charms and stuff. Other than the charms that very few people possess in that world, there's not much else that was really, I'd say, of a fantasy nature, but it was still such a fun time. And I was correct. As I finished the book, there is another book coming following the 2 characters that I had an inkling whilst we were reading it we would potentially get a book for. So I'm very excited about that, because I don't know when that comes out. Obviously the first book isn't even out yet, so it probably isn't for a while, but I'm very intrigued, and I'm really excited to read on. I'm not going to say who the characters are, just because I feel like that's a bit of a spoiler in a way. I just don't want to give anything away, but yeah, I'm very excited to read that next one. And again, I'm very, very grateful to be approved for that arc, and if that sounds something like it's up your street, I would definitely get it on your radar for March 2026. So that being said, I have in fact started the next arc we're going to read, and I'm very, very excited for this one. This is The Ascended by Greenwich and, is it Greenwich? I should probably check that. I will check that. Greenwich and Lennox. So I believe it's 2 authors that have written this together, and I am so excited for this. I've seen very, very good reviews on TikTok of other people reading this arc, and it sounds right up my street. I'm going to quickly find the synopsis and I will read it out, because I actually started this morning. The annoying thing is I can't see page numbers, but I'm 9% in currently. I'm on chapter 6, so you know, I haven't got really into it yet, but let me tell you, it's fast paced. It is fast paced. A lot is going on, a lot is happening. I'm immediately gripped. I feel like this is one of those fantasies where I could just sit and binge it. Like, I feel like all I want to do, if I didn't have anything going on today, is I would just sit and binge this book. So, also, I would just like to say that this comes out the 7th of October. So about a week from this video releasing, I believe. So perfect timing. It is perfect for October time, spooky season. We love a fantasy. Also, my dad is mowing the lawn. I don't know if you can hear that, and I really hope you can't. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's just pray that you can't hear that. So I'm gonna just do a tiny bit of the synopsis because it is quite long. Right, where do we start? Also, I'm unsure of the female main character's name. It's Thais. I'm calling her Thace. I don't know if that's correct, so bear with me on that. But it says, in a world where divine power bleeds into the mortal realm, Thace Morvaran has mastered the art of deception. To her seaside village, she's just a fisherman's daughter, serving oysters to summer tourists. In secret, she hides her ability to forge starlight, a power that would force her into the deadly trials of Ascension, I think that says. But when a priest's ritual exposes her powers, Thasis is seized and scripted into the trials against her will. Now trapped in a competition she never wanted to enter, she transforms her fear into purpose to kill the king of the gods. To take down one of the Asmar, she must become one, even if it costs her everything. So, that's a brief overview. It actually does go on a lot more, in a lot more detail. But I don't want to give off too much because I don't really want to read anymore because I don't want anything spoiled. Not that it's spoiled, but I just love going in blind. So if any of you are the same, I don't want to risk doing that. But that's basically the summary. So you've got your female main character. She's been living in this seaside town all her life, hiding the fact that she has powers and she can control starlight. And then the priests come in. I think they come in every 10 years and they basically say, you know, if anyone's got powers, whatever, please make yourself known. You need to come into these trials. They're not a good thing. Like, the trials, a lot of people don't leave them alive. So she's been hiding. Obviously, she doesn't want to go. And then she ends up getting found out and she ends up getting put into the trials. And that is pretty much where I am currently in this book. I don't want to say everything that's happened because obviously what did I say? 8 chapters in or 6 chapters in? But I still don't want to say too much because, again, this comes out soon and I'm enjoying it and I don't want to ruin anyone else's experience because so far I've been having an absolute blast. So it is fast paced, as I said. We've already got to the point where they found her. She knows she's going to be put into these trials. And there's a lot of other things that have happened, but I'm just not, as I said, I'm not going to go into detail because I want to let everyone have the same experience. So this one I'm really enjoying. I will definitely update. Oh my god, the lawnmower is driving me up the wall. I really, really hope you can't hear this. Anyway, yeah, so far I'm having a good time. I will update when I've read a little bit more. I think this is quite a long one. I think this is about Well, on Goodreads it says it's about 700 pages. Annoyingly with ARCs you don't, well, I personally can't see the page count, I can only see my percentage. So unfortunately I don't know how many pages I'm in or how many are in the book in total. So I would kind of have to guess, but yeah, I'm currently 8%, so I'm not far in, but I am thoroughly enjoying it and I'm really excited to read this and speak to you guys about this because I have an inkling if this continues the way it is, this could be a very highly rated fantasy. And I literally realised the other day I have not had a 5-star since July. It is now mid-September. And I am literally going nuts. Like I need a 5-star. I've also been feeling like I actually saw Heather, I think it's Heather Larry. I actually saw Heather post a TikTok basically saying that she's reading and she's enjoying reading, but she's not immersed in anything, and like she's very aware that she's reading something. And I was like, that is exactly how I've been feeling at the minute. Like I'm having a good time, I'm reading, but I'm very aware of the fact that I'm reading. I don't feel completely immersed in anything that I've been reading recently. So hopefully this will do that for me. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I will update once I have read more and give you some more updates, give you some more thoughts and opinions. I'm on chapter 7 and I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm like, what is going to happen? I feel like everything is happening very quickly, which I'm here for. As again, I feel like it's a very bingeable fantasy book. The only thing is, I'm like, this is 700 pages long. What the hell is going to happen? Like, what is going to happen if we're currently at this speed? I know things are going to happen soon because of where we're at, but I'm like, what is going to happen within this book? I'm scared, but I'm having a very good time. So I love that for me. Hello everyone, so I thought I would quickly update because I think I last updated on Saturday. It is now Monday and I'm currently 36% through The Ascended. Annoyingly, I don't know if I've said this, but I think I have. With ARCs it doesn't tell you the page number, well this one doesn't. It says I have 8.5 hours left in the book, so we've still got quite a while left. Obviously only 36% through, but I thought I'd give you some thoughts. I actually wrote some down on my phone as I've been reading because I was like, let me not forget my thoughts as I go along. So yeah, the first thing I'll say, I think I've already said this, but it's very good pacing, good plot, and we've now got into like the trials part of it, and they've had their first trial, and that was like it was very different to what I was expecting, and it's very unique. I personally haven't read a book that has trials and the things that happened in the trials, not trials itself, but like the things that occurred within the trials. I've not read another book with the outcomes and like the way it was all done, so I found that really intriguing and just like fun, because I feel like in romanticies or just fantasy books, a lot of books have trials, and even though they all have their little quirks, some of them are still quite the same, whereas the way this one worked was very different. So I'm really intrigued to see how the other trials come about and like how they're done basically. And then the only thing I will say, this was my one little grievance, I guess you could say, with it so far, is our male main character. He from the get-go is very cold, like quite rude to the female main character. There's a lot of like, he's very hostile, like he's not approachable, he doesn't care for her, like, you know, which I love. Every time that's the case I'm like eating it up because I can't wait for when the tables turn. The tables kind of turned quite quick, but saying that, they didn't turn completely. It wasn't like a flick of a switch and suddenly he's like, oh my god, I really like her. But it was a case of like I don't know, the first, I want to try to think of the percentage, like the first probably 15% of him having that cold demeanour, not caring, like being very cold towards her. And then it was just sort of like one chapter where suddenly nothing really happened between them, but like interest was shown, but it wasn't subtle. It wasn't like his gaze changed and like, you know, or like, oh, he like, our hands touched and then she's thinking, oh, maybe. It was kind of like he outwardly made it kind of clear that like he's attracted to her. And like the animosity, sometimes it's there, like sometimes he'll give her the cold shoulder on things, but not to the same level. And I'm like, I do obviously want, I know their romance is gonna progress, like it's, oh my god, what is my hair doing? Sorry. Oh my god, what is this little bit? Guys, what is that? I can't even find the hair now. Where's that come from? Oh my god. Is that like a baby hair? I don't even know. That's just really distracted me though. Let me think of like the penguins. You know, the penguins are the fur. Anyway, besides the point, I'm forgetting what I was talking about. But, what was I talking about? But yeah, I just feel like the character development of him, obviously it's a romantasy, so like I'm aware that he is gonna switch gears and like there will be something between him and her because it's very clear. I feel like it's very clear who the main male character will be and like that there will be a romance between them. But just, yeah, the pacing of it kind of has annoyed me a little bit because I was just reading it and I was just like, it doesn't feel right with his character development for him to have been acting the way he was acting because of how cold he was at the start. It felt quick, whereas it's probably not that quick, but it just happened kind of like within one chapter, like going from no care, I don't even want to train you, I have no, like, whatever, to, I can't even remember what the interaction was, but like it being clear that he's quite interested. And it's not like since that point now he's all guns blazing. There are still like things between them and, you know, whatever, but I wish we just got it a little bit slower, like it brewed a little bit longer, because it just felt like, oh, he's like this, and then within a few chapters it was like, nope, like we see a whole different side. And I felt like it could have been done in a way that was like slowly progressed, which I think I would personally would have preferred, especially because this book is like, I think 700 odd pages. So I mean, saying that, I also love a slow burn. So like my ideal would have been that he didn't show anything until like 50%. Like let us work for it a little bit. Whereas because I already like have seen his interest at what, like 15-20%, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I knew it was gonna happen, but ideally I would have had to like, I'd have liked to have been at the point where you're like shouting at the Kindle like, come on, show us your emotions. But anyway, other than that, I am still enjoying it. I'm having a good time. My only other fear is the pacing. Is it going to stay this way throughout? Because keeping the pace through a 700-page book is a lot of work. But I think there's like 4 trials. We haven't had the second one yet. So I feel like it will depend on how quick the trials come about, because we've had a trial, then we've just had sort of like this ball kind of thing, and now we're kind of like back from that. So I don't know if this is when we'll go straight into the next one. But yeah, I also think this ends on a cliffhanger. So, because I think there's meant to be another book. I don't know how many, but I think there's definitely meant to be another book after this. So anyway, all of that to say, I'm enjoying it. It's good fun. It's a fun fantasy. It's very different to like other ones I've read recently. The trials are really fun and I am having a good time. So hopefully that will stay the case. But I will update probably when I'm like maybe just over 50% or so. Let myself get a little bit further and then I will tell you my thoughts. So it's time for the update, because I actually was planning to film an update when I got to about 70%. That didn't happen. I literally just binged this book all day. Well, I say all day, like on my lunch break and then my whole evening. It's now 9:30 and I was planning to do my update tomorrow, but I need to talk about this book because, oh my god, I think this might be one of my favourite romantasies from this year. So I've rated it a 4.25 and that is the highest I've rated a book in a very, very long time. So it speaks volumes. I'm literally in my pyjamas right now. So the urgency to get my opinion out there says a lot. But I just loved this. Let me say, obviously I've said before, parts of the male main characters, like I felt like his, what's the right way to phrase this? I said before, like, he came off really cold and then he kind of switched, and then didn't it, because it switched quite quick between a chapter, it didn't really feel real, and like it didn't really fit, not real, but it didn't really feel like him. I will say that kind of fixes itself. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I feel like his character development then is consistent. There's just like a slight bit, and I don't think many people would probably notice it. I think it's just because I was reading into it, I was like, oh, I felt like his character kind of switched up for a minute and then it went back. But let me say, it is slow burn, and their relationship and the tension and the chemistry, I was eating it up. Like, I was eating it up. And the trials, I don't know if I've said this already, I probably have, but so unique. Like, so unique. Nothing like any other trial I've read before, which I feel like in a fantasy is very rare. And just the whole premise of like the world and everything happened, the ending. Wow. The ending, oh my god. I'm like, I need book 2. I need book 2 right now. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I would highly recommend. Obviously, I don't know if I've said, but this comes out on the 7th of October. So I think a few days after this video will be posted. I think. I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to post this, but this should be posted right before. So if you're watching this and it's past the 7th, I don't know if this will be out on Kindle Unlimited. It might be. So definitely check. If not, just read it. Like, honestly, so good. I will say it wasn't a 5-star purely for the pacing side of it. It is very fast paced. The first bit fast, the end bit fast. Even the middle bit, it isn't slow, but you can definitely, there's a few chapters in there. I want to say probably like 4 chapters, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it probably takes up like an hour of the book. So we're talking probably like 100 pages between the middle section where it just felt a bit slowish, and it felt like a bit like we were just trumbling on. We didn't really, like, we could have just like gone without it or got to the conclusion a bit quicker. But other than that, I actually don't really have any pointers. Like, I genuinely, seriously, really enjoyed this book, and I need people to read it. I need people to speak about it. I need to speak to people about it. I'm just obsessed. And at the very end, I feel like there's a little, what's the right word? There's a little hint between, obviously there's another book in this, I think it's a duology, and there's going to be obviously another book, but it links back to a previous book that they've published called Riftborn. So I don't know if they're connected somehow. I don't think they're connected series, but I think there's a potential crossover with like 1 or 2 characters. So I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have a look into it, because now I feel like I need to read it. Now I feel like that is gonna have to be read, because if there's even a little inkling, I want to know. But that book I believe is set before this one. I'm saying that purely because it came out before this one, but like I'm assuming it's set before, because it's a duology. It's Riftborn and what's it called? I literally had it up. Let me quickly find it. So Riftborn, and then there's Duskbound, which says coming soon, but it does say released in 2024, so I'm not too sure. I think it is out by the looks of it. Oh, okay, my Fable literally just crashed. But I'm going to have a look into that, because if their fantasy is anything like this, I'm going to read it. I'm 100% going to read it. Maybe not right now, if they're as long as this one, because again, this one was long. It's like 700 and something, maybe 800 pages. But it is on my list for the future. So, all that being said, I recommend. I highly recommend. So I think that is where we're going to end today's video. I was hoping to read 3 arcs. I like to try and read 3 books in a reading vlog, but I love to yap, and they end up being very long, and I don't know if people like the longer ones, because I could easily make like a 40 to 50 minute video and do 3 books, but I don't know if people will like that, so let me know. But I thought I'd just cut it at 2, also because there's some other videos. But what am I trying to say? There are some other video ideas I have on the radar that I want to film, and I also kind of just want to read whatever I want to read. I do have other arcs that I'm really interested in reading, so maybe I'll do this again and we can read some more together. Let me know. But the ones I've got, they aren't coming out soon, and obviously I'm very aware of the fact that like the first book I read in this isn't coming out till 2026, but still I recommend them both. A Widow's Charm, The Ascended, so different but both so fun. I think A Widow's Charm was like 3.5, obviously this is a 4.25, so both incredible books. And I say Widow's Charm, great palette cleanser, great like more low stake fantasy. The Ascended, a great romantasy, a great high stakes, just fantasy book overall. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you are going to end up reading any of these books or if you plan to read them, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Please subscribe, and yeah, I will see you hopefully very soon.